Gold Squad TV. Yo, Jeff Goodman, let me talk to you, man. Bob Ryan, too. I just went on Celtics All Access and seen like 18 videos of you just hating on Jaylen Brown. Talking about why Bradley Beal would be a better fit for this team. Now, let me say that Bradley Beal's a good player. It's a good offensive player. That's all he's good for. You know, are we gonna just keep getting rid of players because they supposedly quote unquote don't make their teammates better, then they go somewhere else and end up scoring 30 points a game and having like 8 or 9 assists, doing shit that they don't do here for some reason because you guys always want to keep Brad Stevens happy. Jaylen Brown is going nowhere. Let me assure you that Danny Ainge is not thinking about trading Jaylen Brown. As a matter of fact, I'll even go one further and say that I don't even think Danny Ainge is even thinking about Jaylen being a problem. As he shouldn't. Jaylen Brown is not the problem. I've said this time and time again. But I'm going to switch from basketball for a minute. Because I read in the comment section, I read some gentleman who made a very valid point. I'm starting to wonder if Jeff Goodman and Bob Ryan hate Jaylen Brown for different reasons that go beyond basketball. Let me explain to you that Jaylen Brown is highly involved in outside of basketball activities when it comes to social injustice reform. His cause is really more for education. Now, I feel that there are certain people who are of the elder boomer stage of thinking that don't like any athlete that participates in social injustice. But let's just keep it here for a minute. Bob, you're the same guy who called Terry Rozier a jackass because Terry Rozier wanted a bigger role on the team that he helped win plenty of games for in that horrible 2019 season. And little do you know that Terry's a class guy and that Terry's a guy that, although he could be a little rough around the edges, he didn't. All the stuff you guys said about him in the media wasn't true. Just like a lot of stuff you guys over exaggerated with when it came to Kyrie. Do I think Kyrie was kind of a head case to an extent? I don't think he was really that bad. I do think that he felt that some of you old farts don't really have his best interests in mind, and didn't have JB and JT's best interests in mind, or even Marcus Smart's interests in mind. And it's showing its ugly face this year because, yeah, we're struggling. The Celtics are struggling in a short year. And they're just struggling. It has not been a good year. It made my opinion known plenty of times that this is probably the tax write-off season. This is going to be the season that we all kind of just forget. Next year they'll come back and be a much better team once you have a nice, fresh off season. And some moves that need to be made. Jaylen Brown not being the one that needs to be putting any of these moves. Now, so here's what I got a problem with you, Bob Ryan. You're an older gentleman. You're in your mid-70s. You're a Bostonian. We all know the history between in certain areas in Boston. Not going to say all, but in certain areas in Boston are kind of known for being kind of racist at certain points in times and even to this day. I find it to be kind of prejudiced in a lot of ways and a lot kind of just undertonish in how you talk about athletes, especially these younger athletes. I'm going to leave that at that with him. Jeff Goodman, you're a moron. You've hated Jaylen Brown from day one. You did not want us to draft Jaylen Brown. You didn't want Jaylen Brown on the team. And it makes me really wonder if you got something personal against that man. Your hate is strictly basketball, but it's also undertonish in a way as well. And I feel like it's obsessive at this point that you're trying to build some type of media train in Boston to get Jaylen Brown out of here. And I find it a little weird considering this man is about social injustice and this man is a big part of the Celtics organization. All you got to do is talk to Wick. Wick loves Jaylen Brown, and Wick has been hand in hand with Jaylen when it comes down to the social injustice stuff. And the Celtics have been really big on that stuff since Bill Russell was a player. So for you to say some of those things you say, it makes me really kind of wonder, is this basketball or more? Now, as for Bradley Beal is just a scorer. He's a great scorer. I don't know how much Bradley Beal makes the Celtics better. As a matter of fact, I don't think he makes them better at all unless you keep all three. If you're somehow able to finagle a way to get Bradley Beal, have Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum on the same team, then that makes sense. But if you're telling me you're going to trade a two-way player, a 3-and-D player, for a guy that only plays one end of the court, who has never proven to win at any point in his career, he's always been a Ray Allen-ish, Allen Houston-ish type of player who, guy runs all picks. His threes could break you off the dribble every now and then, but he's a shooter. He's a scorer, but not a guy that can play both ends of the floor. Doesn't really impact winning. Yes, the Wizards are 10th right now. Last time I 10th. It's not first. So, just as you keep hearing me yawn in this video, it's becoming hysterical and damn near laughable at how out there you are about your hate about one man. Just give it up, brother. Goodman, just give it up. Admit you were wrong about Jaylen Brown. Admit you were wrong. And stop slandering this man's name every chance you get. Mind you, Jaylen hasn't played the whole week. He's been out with a high ankle sprain. And somehow, some way, from Sunday all the way to now, he still managed to find himself in 3 or 4 trade videos. For whatever reasons beyond me. But just know that I'm keeping an eye on you guys. And just as much as you guys want to swing the narrative of getting rid of Jaylen, just know that your brain is small and you still believe wrestling is real. If you think that Danny Ainge is going to get rid of Jaylen because you guys are pressuring the situation. When have you ever known Danny Ainge to cave in to media demands? It's never happened. One thing that for all the dumb shit Danny does, and Danny does a lot of dumb shit. I've never been a big Danny Ainge fan going back to his playing days. But I will say this. That man will not cave in to the fan demands, and he will not cave in to media demands. The media means absolutely nothing to Danny Ainge. And I can somewhat respect that. Danny does not care about what the sports media thinks. He does not let the sports media run his teams. Now, granted, he does a lot of dumb shit. I've made this known. I'm not the biggest Danny Ainge fan. But you fools thinking you're going to just continually bash Jaylen Brown in the media, you think that's going to get him traded? Yeah, it's not going to happen, bro. It hasn't happened in 4 years, and 4 or 5 years he's been here. Let me explain to you. Danny Ainge wasn't willing to trade him nor Jason Tatum for Anthony Davis. If he wasn't willing to trade either one of them for Anthony Davis, what makes you think he's going to trade Jaylen Brown for Bradley Beal, who's really, for all intents and purposes, a great scorer, but a one-dimensional player? A guy that just scores. He's never been a high assist guy. He's never been a defender. And, all due respect to Bradley Beal, he can't defend me. And I'm no great player or athlete. Bradley Beal's footwork has always been horrendous. He's never been a great defender at all. And Jaylen Brown checks all the fucking points as being a better player than Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal being a better scorer. But last time I checked, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are better players. And I did a post 2 or 3 days ago. I did a video about how I hate the media out there saying all these things. And one of my good friends on here even commented and talking about the media is right. They are playing, like 12 are all playing for themselves. Like, that's bullshit. Watch basketball, people. All due respect to the person I'm speaking of. I have no issues with you. But watch basketball. If you actually played basketball or know anything about basketball, you know that Jaylen Brown isn't hogging the spotlight. Jason Tatum's not hogging the spotlight. You guys need to be patient and let those guys grow. And let them grow into their roles as they continue to become great players in his league. That said, to sit there and say that they play for themselves, I would like to see how you guys would feel if the players that you have on the court that Brad Stevens decides to field out there are Grant Williams, Trey Waters, Carson Edwards, Semi Ojeleye, in certain lineups. Javonte Green when he was there. Daniel Tice when he was there. You're going to tell me that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown don't have a reason to not trust some of their teammates? Have you looked at the roster? Outside of Smart, Pritchard, Naismith, Tristan Thompson, Time Lord, and Kemba, and Smart, if I mentioned them already, I apologize. Who the hell do you rely on? Who do you rely on to get points? Did you guys not watch that Chicago game yesterday when Tatum struggled and only had 8 points? And how nobody else was able to get a bucket? Foreigner had about 18, but that was about it. Kemba had 33, but that was about it. You guys already still want to sit here and talk about Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are being, ball hogs. I don't know if you guys ever played basketball before, nor do you understand the pro game. The stars are going to get the ball. This is not, you say it's not a team, it's not a me game, it's a team game. Well, guess what? The NBA is actually more of a me game. The role players show up when they need to show up. For the most part, historically, it's always been about the star players. You name me a team outside of the Detroit Pistons in 2004 that won a championship as a team and not about the stars. You'll be far or hard-fetched to do it. It don't help the ratings, y'all. Nobody wants to see team basketball. People want to see basketball players that they like who happen to play on great teams. You don't think the Lakers don't... Nobody watches LeBron James because the Los Angeles Lakers are a great brand. People watch the Los Angeles Lakers because they're the Los Angeles Lakers, but they also have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. But nobody's sitting there. If you see how it was when they just had Kuzma, Ingram, Lonzo Ball, and those guys, nobody cared. Come on, man. The team was stinking. The joint had D'Angelo Russell snitching on the whole team. Nobody cared about the Lakers at that point. Nobody did. People started caring about the Lakers once LeBron got there and when Davis got there. Nobody would care about the Celtics if Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown weren't playing and Kemba Walker was not playing. Nobody would care, and all you people sitting here and saying, oh, that's bullshit, you are full of shit. It's a stars league, baby, and it always will be a stars league. That 1958 Boston Celtics team's not walking on that floor. Teams with guys that are not athletic and not good enough to be put on TV, although they won back in those days, it was a different game. The days of those teams winning have been long gone. It's the Stars League, man. It's the Stars League. And we got at least 3 of them on our team. If you count Kemba, that's 3 of them. Well, people are more interested to see those three succeed versus seeing, I don't know, the Orlando Magic making the playoffs. Who cares about watching that? Who the hell is Orlando got on that team? You see, you guys, you Celtics fans are fickle. And Celtics media is fickle. You guys love that IT team that just had IT. But well, what was there to cheer for once the playoffs started? When if IT gonna give you 50, were you gonna really win? Let's not act like IT was the greatest team player in the world either. You guys were shitting on him the minute he asked for the Brinks truck and then you got rid of him. Remember? Gold Squad TV. Leave your comments down below. Don't be a fool. Don't say nothing stupid.